over 1.6 million Indians. This is the guy who shouldn't have been in this country. White erasing a white male that would have had this job, making a living. He probably killed himself. The white guy who could have done this job. He probably did. Nobody cares about him. The cucks and the schmucks don't. White erasing the guy who should have had this job, starting a family, living his life. He only gets one of them. The concentric rings of harm done by that trucker, white trucker, being mistreated. Other whites looking on saying, why bother trying? You don't have a chance. This guy instead, because of anti-whiteism, not because there's a Jew in charge or a Democrat in charge that can be fired and everything gets better, but because of anti-whiteism, driving as they do in so many of those videos I've watched from India, pulls that U-turn, 3 family members dead instantly. Who cares about them? Right? No one. Nobody cares about those people killed instantly. Certainly not the 2 million people, 2 million Indians that have signed a petition for leniency for this guy. This is the power of having a people. This should make white people sit up and take notice of peoplehood. Not complain that Indians will behave this way. What's the use in complaining? You might as well complain about gravity. You might as well complain about the sun rising and setting. You might as well complain about the change of the seasons. You are a fucking loser if you do that. This guy murders 3 people, and his people, a percentage of the overall number, immediately are signing up to a petition. They're making endless videos. Support him, back him, protect him, be lenient on him. It's not his fault. What do you mean it's not his fault? You weren't there. He fled to California. He acted as though he had killed nothing more than some beetle that smashed into his windshield. Nearing 2 million people. This has just been in days. In just a couple of days. And remember, the schmucks lost their mind when 30,000 people gave money to Shiloh, and the vast majority of which, I argued, gave it for reasons other than they articulated. And here you have, in days, 2 million Indians. Attributed to Punjabi youth urging the federal government to free Harjinder Singh, the illegal migrant trucker who killed 3 Americans by making a illegal U-turn. We, the undersigned, respectfully petition the clemency or sentence reduction on behalf of a 28-year-old Punjabi man. How do you think, white race? I mean, I cannot believe I have been doing this for decades. And you all are all that there is. That's it. For decades, I have been warning about the selfish individualism and the complaining getting us nowhere, and what it's going to be like increasingly day by day to live in a Western country where you operate as an individualist, a selfish individualist, complaining about other groups of people acting as peoples. The Jews are so successful. The Jews are so successful. The Jews are looking out for it. They're so successful. I get it. Shut up. I am sick of the bullshit. You are living increasingly in a world where the white race is being eaten alive by the gears of peoplehood all around us. No white person would back a white truck driver who did something so brazen, so illegal, so immoral. But you know what else? They also don't back a white person who deserves it. Instead of a pristine sentence, instead of a prison sentence, the petition asks their fellow Indian be sentenced to restorative justice measures, counseling, or community service, aligning with both accountability and compassion. With deep respect and hope, collective Punjabi youth, and by the way, the Punjabis are a specific group of, and I've known some, I've known good people from that part of the world, but this is the group of people that Khalid was finding common cause with when it came to the rape terror gangs. Instead of saying it was an anti-white thing and calling it an anti-white rape terror gang, he called it grooming and said, well, the Punjabis stand with us, so it's legitimate for us to be opposed to the grooming. The Indian trucker is part of a fast-growing Indian Sikh community in the United States, which includes many illegal and legal migrants. In a post-accident test, he failed to understand English. All right, you all know all that. The point here is peoplehood, and we are not going to achieve it unless we leave the anti-white narrative with concepts that unite the white race on our birth. You know what you can't do? You can't say to a group of people, hey, tribe up. Hey, over there, tribe up, white people. That's as plausible as saying, there's going to be a new God. We're all going to decide today that there's a new God. His name is Falcor, and he comes from the planet Falcorian. I mean, it's that inane. These white people don't realize. They hear from me. They see me explain things. They see this work, and they're like, that guy, we don't need him. White guilt's been defeated. We're going to have a new God named Falcor. A bunch of prisoners. A bunch of prisoners are going to write up a new religion for us. Let's not listen to that white guy. Give me a fucking break. You know, I've had some of those people, not a few, say to me, I don't need go free. I already have gone free because I believe in Thor. Shut the fuck up. U.S. government officials have stopped enforcing many laws and encouraged migrants to enter the nation's highways, housing, white-collar workplaces, and streets. More than 5 million Indians now live legally or illegally in the United States. You know what? We have, I think it was Matt Walsh talking about this week, a true thing that he shared, that the establishment, both Republican and Democrat, have been saying for decades that the number of illegals, anti-white, non-white intruders is 11 million. 11 million, 11 million. Every new presidency regime, another, it's 11 million. It's 11 million. It's over 30 million. It's over 30 million. In my opinion, of course, because anti-white pigs are listening to everything I say. So that's my opinion. It's over 30 million. And now we know what was kept secret by both Republicans and Democrats. So hear my words, cuckservatives, by both Republicans and Democrats, that we have over 55 million visa holders. There is no circumstance that you should have that many foreigners in your country. So how many people are actually in America? When they say, oh, it's 350 million, are they including the 55 million visa holders and the 30 plus million illegals? If they're not, then how many do we actually have in America? What is that doing to our natural environment? Our waterways, our forests, which used to be pristine places for white families, our campgrounds, they all look like the dump now. And who gets blamed for that? The white race. Who gets blamed? The white race gets blamed for everything being polluted now. This kind of thing is everywhere, happening all the time. The accident, you mean the murder, Breitbart, echoes the imported Indian highway culture. Risk-taking is another prevalent characteristic of Indian drivers. Indian author. Oh, okay. So Breitbart can say that because an Indian said that. They're just quoting some Indian. How about you just defend white people? We can speak up for ourselves. This is another typical for the conservatives behavior. Oh, we can criticize the way that Indians drive in India because this Indian guy did here. Rut Singh said in an article in 2024, I don't care what he says. Don't care. Don't need his validation. Don't need his approval. The pro-Indian petition cites the case of the trucker in Colorado who killed 4 Americans in a highway backup. The trucker's brake failed. I saw a video just the other day of a Indian trucker here in the United States urinating in behind the cab. Why he just didn't walk into, because it's not his norm. Why he just didn't walk into the facility there that had a bathroom. It's just going to be easier to piss on the electronics. It's just going to be easier to piss on the actual vehicle. All right, let's keep it moving. Look at this. Here's what you don't get a people if you're white. This white guy here, or at least he's white presenting, was in Germany. And some German girls, does that mean they were white? Who knows even anymore, right? Nevertheless, some German girls were being harassed by some anti-white non-whites, specifically anti-white Syrians, I think. They were being harassed. The white guys in Germany didn't care, didn't do a thing. Our brothers in Germany sat there silent, didn't do a thing. Do you think that's because they don't hate Jews enough? Do you think that's because they don't hate Arabs enough? Do you think that's because they don't hate blacks enough? It's because they don't love enough. If they loved those girls, if those girls were white and this was happening to them, and they loved them as the sisters, the daughters, the mothers, the cousins of our people around planet Earth, they would have all defended them. And these two anti-whites would have met an untimely scenario. But instead, they sat and watched as this one white guy from America decides he's going to stand up and say, enough of that. Stop harassing them. Do you all remember a couple of years ago when a couple of American soldiers got involved on a train? And the media in America really saw fit to talk about that, didn't they? Why? Because one of the soldiers was non-white. So now it's okay. Now it's okay. If it's multiracial good guys, just like entertainment, now we can talk about it in the anti-white narrative. Now we can laud them as great heroes. But this guy, I don't know. He decides he's going to step up and defend these females from the guy who was doing the majority of the harassing. And while he was engaged in an altercation with that guy, his friend decided to take out a knife and shove it in his face.
All didn't think that Europe had an immigration problem, especially Germany. Let me drop some knowledge on you.
If you didn't think, so who is this guy speaking to? If you didn't think they had an immigration problem, what a world we live in. That the so-called defenders of the white race talk so little about the victimization of our people. They're talking so much about everything else that here you have some random white guy decides to jump on a video after being mutilated with a knife. And the injuries will be present on his face forevermore. And he's like, hey, by the way, if you didn't think that they have an immigration problem too, let me clear it up for you.
Okay, I'm going to give you a backstory first. This man is a US citizen. He's 21 years old. He saw 2 German girls getting harassed on a train by 2 Syrian men. He stepped in to help them and they knifed him. Listen to his story.
It is 11:57 right now. In 3 minutes, that man that assaulted that young woman yesterday will be released from custody. He'll be released from custody because he's not a citizen of Germany.
Released.
He's not a citizen of the EU for that matter. He doesn't even belong.
Is this two-tier justice? It's anti-whiteism. It's anti-whiteism. Don't have a discussion about an abstraction when our sons are being knifed in the face. If you do, you're a piece of shit.
In here. He's an immigrant, an illegal one, a drug dealer, and very popularly known here, especially by the police. This is not the first time this has happened. It's not the first time that man had beat up women, and it's not the first time that the other guy decided to take a swing at my face with a 6-inch blade. If they could do this to the people of Germany and then just get released 12 hours later, even less at this point,
shocking.
Where's the law?
Anti-whiteism has white erased the law. He needs to hear the truth. So do all of our brothers and sisters, or it's never going to end. Good Samaritan stabbed after confronting Syrian, anti-white Syrian in Germany. An American's been stabbed after confronting a Syrian national in Germany after allegedly stepping in to help 2 female passengers being harassed. Young man was attacked at around 12:25 a.m. Pictures from the scene show blood splatter over the tram, along with empty booze bottles. The unidentified American was rushed to the hospital in serious condition with knife wounds to his face. 21 years old, this young man. Stabbed in the face by these anti-white monsters. But keep calling it two-tier justice. Keep saying it's the Jews. Because you're garbage. This continues. And it continues. And it continues. Keep not mentioning me and this community. Keep not citing us and the successes we've had. Keep doing that. And you are responsible for the continuation of anti-whiteism. You are responsible. Look at all the blood. That's our brother's blood. How can you look at that and talk about two-tier policing? How can you look at that and talk about things you can't do anything about? He was released by police, the attacker, Sunday, despite having previous charges. That's anti-whiteism, white erasure of our norms. Authorities, this happened in Dresden. And remember, the only woman who, throughout the entire white sympathetic sphere, who was in Dresden as a child and escaped. All of these LARPing losers want to talk about Dresden and the fire bombing. The only person in the entire white sympathetic sphere embraced white well-being. So previous arrests and charges, and 12 hours he just walks. Surveillance footage from the tram show is currently being studied by police who have urged witnesses to come forward. For what? For what? So that these animals can come after them? Here's a video that won't play because X sucks, but it is of an Indian MP in the UK. And she's calling on India to intervene in America on behalf of Harjinder Singh, the guy who pulled the U-turn, murdering 3 people on the roadway. An elected official. This is what it looks like when you have a people. We're doing a little comparison here between having a people and not having a people. What do you want to do? You want to look at this young guy, young white guy, and say, it's not fair. I will personally kick your ass. It's not fair. And you have elected officials in a third country asking India to intervene in the United States on behalf of a member of her people. Now, are they transnational? What have I been calling for decades? A single white race that circles the globe. I created the tools to make that happen. A single white race that circles the globe, one people, many countries. I've been saying for decades. That's what we need to do. And here's the formula that achieves it. And then what happens when the specific question about white guilt is raised? Not a mention of us. How about this one? Here are endless videos. This is the great biosphere to the West making a comment worthy of your reading, but we got to keep this rolling. He says, well, I'll do read this. As angry as this makes me, this is what whites need to take a lesson from. His people are advocating for his well-being as a collective force for their own well-being, for their individual well-being, group well-being by way or individual well-being by way of one's group. That's peoplehood. The fact that they're wearing funny hairstyles and different clothing, all of that are the accoutrements of peoplehood. We can have all of these different languages that the white race speaks. We can have all of the different breakfasts, the different foods, the different on and on. And we're still a single people. So you want to know, why is it that Jason's been at work at this for decades? Why is it that he's been at work for this for decades with a formula that achieves his objective, and yet it's nowhere compared to so much others, so many others? Why is that? Arvel just showed you. Arvel just fucking showed. The nicest and fairest guy in the white sympathetic sphere just fucking showed you why. So who's responsible? When they show up, when they crank out video after video after video, here's one saying, yes, he should be protected. Here's another one. Yes, here's a third one. Yes, here's a fourth one. Yes, the videos are pouring out. 2 million of them signed the petition. 2 million, the numbers are growing. How much money could they raise if they decide to do that? Instead, foreign elected officials are calling on third countries to get involved on behalf of a member of their people. But you ignore the guy that has been demanding and creating peoplehood out of the white race for 3 decades. It can make me sick. You make me sick, and good Lord willing, you will be sent straight to hell in this life. Absolutely sickening. This is what you all have to look forward to. Every single one of you. It doesn't matter how many little towns you make, all white town. That's what you're going to get. Oh, they're going to put troops on the street to make sure it's just not pure anarchy so that no business people can run a quickie Indian gas station or whatever it is, or a Jewish-run bank or whatever it is. Oh, they'll put troops on the street to at least keep the economy rolling. But this is going to happen to you, and there'll be no justice. Unreal. Here you have another example, completely different group of people. Savannah here talking about follow-up on the Somali who raped a 12-year-old girl in Michigan, I believe it is, or Minnesota, I think, raped a 12-year-old girl in Minnesota after abducting her from the backyard. How very anti-white of this guy. You didn't need troops in Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, Washington, D.C., Miami, New York. You didn't need troops. You didn't need federal police. Oh, but you need them now. You need them now, don't you? And if you're a cuck, you're going to say, well, I guess it's all fine. That's all good. It's been taken care of. Right? They've come out now, and now I can walk the streets safe. And I don't have to worry about the troops with loaded weapons because I'm not one of the people causing a problem. The rapist's local mosque not only penned a letter in support of the child abducting pedophilic rapist, but now other Somalis are sending death threats to the victim's family and refusing to acknowledge his crime. This is what peoplehood looks like. This is what it looks like. So every content creator who wants to come to you and tell you more about how this non-white group or that non-white group or this other non-white group, at least a percentage of each, not the whole group of people, but at least a percentage. Those content creators, they'll probably tell you the whole group. But how many more times do you have to hear? They work together. How unfair. How many times do you have to hear it? They work together. Unfair. Hate them for that. Well, here you have it again. It's going to be every day, all the way through. And it will only end when you die. Because it will be ending for you in that last breath. Not for all the white people left behind, though. Not for all these white children that are going to have to live with this and be stabbed in the face. Not for them. No, it won't be over for them, but at least you'll be dead. You selfish bitch. So there you have it. The reality of peoplehood in spades. As you look at our brothers' blood, our sons' blood all over the floor. You're responsible for it. Look at all of our brothers' blood. Look at it. Take that in. Let me do this. Take that in. That's our son's blood. All of these LARPers out there want to talk so much about blood and soil. You don't give a shit about our blood. You don't talk about the community achieving successes for peoplehood. There's his blood. That's our blood.